My boating journey is going to begin in about 3 days' time. That is when I'm due, in theory, to do the RYA, that's the Royal Yachting Association. It's the dictatorship of Britain when it comes to being on water. Level 2 powerboat handling course. Now, this is the official website. So, 2 day course, practical course on the water, and also not classroom, but explaining things like how to plot a course. It is a pass or fail course, so you can fail it, but it's one of these foundation things that you have to do it, or else you're kind of buggered, and not in the fun, limp-wristed way, because it means you can't, or very rarely, be able to get insurance. If you don't have insurance, you can't go to a marina. It's rare a marina will let you dock or tie up or stay over unless you have insurance. And to get insurance, most of the time you have to have, at the very least, this powerboat course. The prices of this course as of June 2026, some of the places will charge you 350 £350. That was in Dartmouth, which is where I went to college at one point. Anyway, other places do it for 275. The place I'm going to is not far from me, but my God, they're not good on communication. I could be wrong, but I've got visions of people in their 70s doddering around. Oh, it's a telephone. That I could be wrong, but I've had 8 emails and several other emails from different email addresses, and they can't seem to receive my emails unless I send it to one person who's not doing it. He's doing the instructor, but he's not the person dealing with the other stuff. They're very, very techno unsavvy. But the price has come down since I started. Very initially, it was 260 or £270, and it's dropped every time there's been a conflict of emails where they haven't received it, or they have received it, they don't know where it is, and so the most recent price is £200. So, and they just don't seem to understand how email address works. What I have to provide is a passport photo, because when you do the course, if you pass, they give you a certificate, and then you take your details, name, address, whatever, send it off with a photo, and you get, I'm assuming, like a driving license come back through, which allows you to use the boat. So my issue is going to be twofold. Well, three. I've got severe crippling injuries all over from 2 bike crashes in the past 6 years. I'm on a walking stick, smashed wrists, shoulders, everything. Anyway, that's one big issue. I've forgotten the other one because I've got brain damage. the other issue I've got is that these are 2 full days, as in 8:30 till 5 o'clock, 9:30 till 3 o'clock on the weekend. I have not done full-time education in decades. We are talking actually more than decades, because it was the millennium I was doing a computer course. So I haven't done full-time education in 27 years. So to think I'm going to be doing 8:30 till 5 on a Saturday, that means waking up at 6 to get the 8 o'clock bus and hope it gets there on time. Plus, I'm going to have to sleep over at nearly the hottest time of the year. I'm going to have to camp, because there is no bus that will get me there for 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday. I think the earliest bus is 10 o'clock, according to the online stuff. But there's other online stuff which says something else. Either way, to make sure I get there for 9:30, I'm going to have to camp. That's not going to be fun. But I don't even know if I can use a boat because of the damage I got to my wrists and things. But the plan I've got, and I've been doing some notes, is that get a boat, convert it to electric, and therefore I should not need any ongoing bills with regard to the boat. According to, I did a quick, AI is good for some things. These, not so much AI, but search results that give you estimations. I did one for the average running cost of a powerboat in the UK, and it's £6,000 per year. That's the average, and that's based on someone who goes out on maybe once a month if it's nice weather. £6,000. So that's servicing the engine, all that kind of stuff. If I were to spend £1,000 on power supply, that's a hydroelectric, 2 wind turbines, and a small solar panel, MPPT, power management unit, some batteries. So for the batteries and the power supply, it shouldn't cost more than £2,000, maximum £2,000. And that includes a motor. And even if I got to go and pay someone to do it, it shouldn't cost me more than £5,000. That should be the maximum. And I'm not talking a little paddling boat, I'm talking a proper, like 10 metre, 9 metre, whatever, cabin cruiser. So if I can do it for like less than £6,000, it should not require any ongoing maintenance other than scraping off the barnacles. It shouldn't require any ongoing servicing, because the only moving parts are the motor, which is designed to move constantly for 10-15 years, the drive belt between the motor and the rear prop, they're what, £5-10 each? And depending on the motor, I may have to use a radiator, so coolant. Worst case scenario, I distill my own water and use that instead. Those are the only two things that are going to wear out after maybe 5 years. Coolant and a drive belt. That's it. There are no other things to wear out with regard to propulsion. As far as providing power for propulsion, a couple of wind turbines, a hydroelectric generator, which is just basically hydro I can chuck in the river. I've got plans to modify the hydro as well to make it more efficient. Maybe a solar panel. I'm not too keen on solar panels, but the hydroelectric, batteries. The batteries, I'm not going to use lithium because that makes me complicit in the extermination of entire countries. But using a standard old-fashioned lead-acid battery, eventually the plates inside the battery get clogged up. It's not difficult to clean them. You empty out the old water, you put in something like bicarb or cola, you give it a shake around, and that will dislodge and clean off all the metal plates inside, give it a rinse out, top it up with some distilled water, and you've got a brand new battery. And that's only after every like 15 years or so. The reason I don't want you to do these things is because these are not controlled resources. Wind, water is not that. They try to restrict access to the sea, but it is not a controlled resource. Copper, iron are not controlled resources because they are common in every country. And those are the main ingredients in producing electricity. With regard to food and water, I've designed a couple of things. Well, one thing for reclaiming seawater as drinking water. I've got another thing I've designed for food production, which is interesting. I had a quick walk down the coast today and I saw at least 4, possibly 5 different species of seaweed. All the seaweed species around the UK are edible and quite nutritious, minerals, iodine, etc. You've also got fish swimming around you. I've also been working on plans for a way to catch fish without having to constantly throw things away. I don't like disposable. So the thing I've been working on with regard to fishing is a grapnel or a very thin anchor. Shape the prongs into hooks, put a very bright bulb rechargeable in the middle of it, tie a weight on the end of it for whatever depth, tie a buoy on the end of it so it sinks down to whatever depth the fish are at. And, you know, the light attracts the fish. Yomp, yomp, yomp. So it's a plan that's been in motion for a while. If this, I don't even know because they won't respond to the bloody emails. That's the problem. And they sent me an email that they didn't mean to send me. They meant to send it to somebody else. So I've not been able to pay online because they can't seem to find my emails. So I just said to them, I'll pay on the day, cash. And that is the plan. Today is Wednesday. And tomorrow I'm going to sort out the kit I'm going to be taking. Because it's the hottest time of the year, pretty much. 21st of June is going to be, it's the middle of the year. It's not the longest day. The longest day is, I think it's the 25th of June. So we're talking 30 degrees Celsius, nearly 100% humidity. Yeah, should be interesting. Well, unfortunately, other than walking 4 miles and into the woods that are owned by a campsite, there's nowhere I can see to pitch a hammock unless I'm actually in town. So, because Saturday night I got a camp and the campsite charges £25 a night just for a tent. I'm not paying 25 quid just to put a tent up for a few hours. So, field somewhere. It's a bit on the hot side. Mind you, I'm looking at all those derelict buildings down in the quarry. I'm deciding on Ubex. Go exploring if I can get over the railway lines. I mean, I'd love to bring my hammock and put it somewhere. It's just there's nowhere to tie it to. And the tent weighs, just a tent on its own is 3 kilos. Although I might be tempted to only bring parts of it. There's a lot of bugs. A lot of fucking bugs here. So I need something with mosquito net. I might just bring half the tent and hope it doesn't rain. Yeah, somewhere in there is a footpath I just came down. To avoid ticks, have a stick and just walk with a stick in front of you to piss them off basically, and to stop them from clinging to your legs. Reasonably sure I found a couple of places where I can pitch my hammock. However, I've been checking the times on the buses and the bus won't get there on a Saturday morning until 9:15. Now I could just do the usual, what a lot of people do, and just say sod it, turn up quarter of an hour late or 20 minutes late. That's not my brain. Which means I've now got to get a bus an hour earlier. Because the next bus I can get to get there before 8:30, which is when it starts, is 10 to 6. 10 to 7, I mean. So, yeah. That means I'm going to have to get up at least 2 hours early just so I can get my brain awake enough, sort of thing. So, yeah. Um, I think it's 5 to 7 is the bus I got to get. Which is going to mean getting there at 7:30 and hanging around for an hour, basically. Or 45 minutes. So, oh joy. So, prep for tomorrow for the boat course. If it's still on, I've not heard back from them. Anyway, I'm going to have to be up at 5. I've got insomnia, so I'm always awake. Anyway, I get maybe 20 minutes at a time due to the damage I've got. So what I'm taking is none of this. All the usual stuff is not going. It's one overnight. I'm keeping the weight limit right down. So no radio, no laser pointer, no cat training toy. It's just for the one night. Sleep system. So I'm using the Baby Burger. Basically, sleeping bag. Underquilt. I don't know if I'm going to need it, but I'm going to be camping more than likely next to a river. I might actually camp on top of the river between branches, but there's a lot of rats. You always get rats around rivers. Around any water source, you're going to get animals, and if it's a low-lying river, you do get vermin, and I don't fancy having them climbing up on me. So I'm also taking no food. I might get some sweets, like extra strong mints or something to take with me, but I'm not taking any food, especially in that area. You're going to get mice and rats. High up on the hills, not so much. So, sleeping bag, underquilt. It's not supposed to rain, but I still want to have a tarp to go on top of the hammock. It gives you the illusion of privacy, as well as keeping off condensation. Jacket, very, very thin, but it's actually 100% windproof. It's one of those times when you get something with a brand name, makes a big difference. Lightweight, hooded, high neck, and very, very water resistant. Plus, I recently sprayed it with waterproofing spray. That's actually part of the requirement for the course. You've got appropriate kit to do it. So I'm going to be wearing my water resistant combats in this fucking heat. So that is the main compartment done. Other than the hammock. And when you put it in, you've got to make sure it's not going to bend because of the underwire brass stuff. You don't want that getting bent. That is done. Don't have to check it again. Side pockets. Yeah. Right, side pockets. A little bit of paracord always comes in handy. In that same pocket, going to go a flannel, just so I can have a rinse down. That will have 2 litres of water in it. I'm only taking 2 litres of water because there is actually a public tap. A lot of towns don't have public taps anymore. There is one in Watchet, so I can use that to top the bottom up. So that goes in there. Two pairs of glasses. Fucking hair tangled up in it. 2 pair of glasses, because short and long sighted. I do have very focused, but they're an old prescription and I don't want to be squinting. Oh, plus I've modified slightly the long sighted ones with a bit of paracord, just so that if I'm on a boat wearing them, less chance of them falling into the sea. As it is my new pair, 2 pair, and that goes in the top, along with, just for the sheer sake of it, a little tripod for that, my notebook for the course, pen. There are willow trees around if I get a headache, but for the sake of, just for the sheer sake of it, I'm taking a few aspirin, pen, toilet roll, just in case. I'm not going to be eating on Saturday. I'm not so that I can die if I miss a few meals for a month or 2. So going without food for 24 hours, it'll be a good thing. I'm taking my power pack. Never actually used it properly, but this is a solar panel one. I'm not going to be using the solar panel aspect of it. There we go. But it does work, and it's a really good thing. It still has charge in it. See, that's quite good. It's come on green light and flashing, because even the light in the bedroom, which is not very much, it's starting to charge up. But I'm going to stick that, plug it in the mains, make sure it's fully charged, and that will just give me an extra power supply, because I'm hoping to do some videos of actually doing the course, if the instructor will allow it. I don't record people unless I get permission first, unless it's some cunt coming in the house. I mean, like a psychiatric assessment. So that's going to go in there. Glasses, wrist strap, which I'm going to need. I'll be carrying that in my pocket. This is why you don't want to pack your main compartment too tight. Otherwise, these things can end up getting bent out of shape. And then on the other side, yes, I could end up being slightly lopsided. I might get a smaller bottle, a 1 litre, and have it in there just for drinking on the go. Complete change of clothing. These are actually combats. Really, really lightweight. It's a brand new ones, not worn yet. Combats, socks. Very confusing underwear. It's traditional for men to dress to the left or right, so your genitals go down one side or the other. These are in the middle, which is weird. Really silky. So that's that. And a t-shirt. The t-shirt weighs more than all the rest combined. T-shirt weighs twice what this lot does. But that gives me a change of clothing because I get too manky or if I fall in the water or something. So that can go in that side pocket. And that is all I'm taking. Basically the whole thing fits in there, nice and snug. So I can walk around carrying it and it doesn't look as if I'm going camping. I do decide to get more stuff, like a pasty or something, I can always chuck it in there. So that is going to be my overnight camping bag. Pretty tidy. La la la. 2:30 in the morning. Here's the thing about insomnia that people don't seem to realise. It's not a case of you have trouble sleeping. It's a case of you don't sleep. You might get half an hour. It's raining. You might get half an hour where you'll pass out. Yeah, it's raining. And that's about it. Now, I've had insomnia since I was 5. That's 50 years. And it's gotten a lot worse in the past 5 after all the crashes. I can handle 4 minutes, 5 at the most on one side before the pain is too much. So I spend most of my time lying in bed trying to relax, trying to sleep. I've given up. It's about 2:30 in the morning, and fuck it. As I got to leave here at 6:15 to get the bus. That's the latest I can leave here, is 6:15. Yeah, it's raining. It's not supposed to rain today. So, time for caffeine. And after the zombie apocalypse, there is no humanity left. Just lots and lots of different coloured budgies. Think about this time in the morning. It's really nice because there's no fucking humanity. Not that there is any humanity anyway, but no humans. So peaceful. 6:30 in the morning. Buses, buses, buses. We are wanting buses. Bus should be here in about 25 minutes, I think, if it's on time. 6:30 and I'm already sweating my fucking ass off. I am soaked. And we haven't even started getting warm yet. It's the humidity. 6:30. Oh, crap. Yeah, just to point out, the course doesn't start until 8:30. So if the bus is on time and it gets there on time, I'm going to have to wait for an hour. Fucking roasting. Welcome to Watch It. Muggy, humid, about 90% humidity. And an hour to kill. 7:30 on a Saturday morning, there is nothing open. Oh, for a cooked breakfast. The community bookshop. The harbour police. Yeah. And the bar, all looking very colloquial, very, very English, very, very traditional. Except, of course, as you come here on a market day, in which case there are no English products, no English food, no English goods, and it's just gabonga bonga bonga bonga. So, it's a shame, still. Oh, 2 statues of note here in Watch It. One is the Old Man of the Sea, which is very creepy because they made it in such a way that you can sit children right on his lap. The other thing that's rather... the sculptures on the coast are rather interesting. There's one down in, I think it's called Ilfracombe, and it's a massive, I think 50-foot tall naked woman who's pregnant on one half of her body. The other half is like a zombie. They've got these terrifying bloody sculptures. I mean, like this one. He's actually got a noose around his neck. I mean, yes, it is actually from an old story about, was it Jonah? The guy who killed the bird. But of all the statues to choose, and he didn't have a crossbow. It's just been made by someone to symbolise the death of white people. That's all these things are. Anti-white statues. There we are. Just 55 minutes to kill. I think it's the second largest tide differential on the planet. So when the tide goes out, it goes out. At the moment, I think it's more in than out. What's interesting to me is that nobody bothers using this part of the harbour. They all just use the marina, which costs a lot of money. They won't tell you how much, and the price keeps changing. Whereas this, that'd be perfect. Tide comes all the way up to here. Yeah, come in, pitch a boat. I'm assuming these red things means you're not allowed to. Basically forcing you to go and pay some American guy who's running the marina. Surprise, surprise. Irritatingly, all the cafes got open signs. Why is it irritating? Because they're all fucking closed. They just say they're open. And I really don't think I should have a greasy fry up when I've not been on a boat in decades. But the last time I was on a boat, small one, probably 30 years ago. Well, the brigantine white jailbait. I mean, there used to be an actual swimming pool here at one point, tidal. And they just ploughed it over.
That's like trying to pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time.
No trouble leaving in the marina if she does sit on mud, which she is where on the pontoons are on, she can sort of stains the hole really badly.
Okay, I have been awake since I got out of bed at 2 o'clock this morning. I gave up trying to sleep. The course started at 8:30. It's now 4:45. They finished early. Good points. Oh, first of all, the price kept changing, but the price I ended up paying was £200. Now, good sides and bad sides to this course. Local chips is the good side is I can now use a boat. After the first day, yep, we have this little 3-meter ribbed, which is sounds porn, but it's not. It's basically an inflatable boat. You've got a central column that you can sit on, and it's got a reasonably sized outboard engine. So we did a few basics, up and down, turn left, turn right. And he tried to get us to do a 3-point turn in a confined space, which was impossible. The boat would not fit. The boat would not fit in that space. He tried doing it and the instructor couldn't do it. But it was fun, yeah, I enjoyed it. There was 2 of us on the course. I think the most they do is 3 people. The 2 downsides really are, one, he does not do navigation, chart plotting, that kind of stuff. That is the main thing I was interested in doing, not just operating the boat, but actually learning how to chart a course, plot a course. And all we get for that is a little, and there's not anything really in there about it. And his reasoning is that they're more interested in tides than they are in charting a course. Which aspect is the guy has a massive speech impediment, where he will actually start a sentence and he will actually miss most of the words in a sentence. He'll start off by to now. That is a good example. He will actually miss out entire words of a sentence and then expect you to do what he just told you to do. So the communication is very lacking. But overall, it's worth £200 just to get on the boat, learn the basics, to see whether or not I can actually do this. My only pain was stepping down into the boat when the metalwork in my leg dug into my kneecap. Tomorrow, there is another positive I'll get to in a minute, why I'm doing the recording here. Tomorrow is going to be 9:30, I think, until 1:30. And it's all going to be on a boat, a different one. I think it's a 4-meter rib. Learning different things like man overboard, that kind of stuff. And but another positive is I said to them, I'm going to be camping, so I brought my hammock and everything else. I'm now in the scout hall. Yeah. I'm looking at pictures of the beavers. No, not the American version of beaver. The beaver scouts. That's the junior version of the scouts, and it is kind of weird. I'm in their scout hall. So, yeah. Now, I do say I don't have a mattress because I've got a hammock. I don't need a mattress. So they give me an inflatable. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Worst case scenario, I'll just sleep on the bloody floor. I'm that exhausted from having, I think, maybe 1 hour sleep in total in the past 48 hours. So, anyway, chips. Actual freshly battered fish. Fish is good. Batter's a bit greasy, but yeah, that's right nice. It's, it's my first actual food since 24 hours. It's my first food in 24 hours. Not including my 3 3 rich tea biscuits for breakfast. So yeah, it's the first food I had in 24 hours. So yeah, I'm going to crash out and try and get some rest.